You have been learning design patterns, powerful reusable solutions to common software problems. But knowing a pattern is only half the skill. The other half is knowing when to put it down. In this video, we are going to talk honestly about the cost of patterns and how to avoid the trap of reaching for them before the problem even exists. Imagine you join a code base and find a full observer setup, a factory hierarchy, and a strategy interface, all wiring together a feature that sends one type of email. Each pattern is technically correct, but none of them were necessary. The code is harder to understand than a plain function would have been, and the abstractions get in the way rather than helping. That is the pain we are addressing. Patterns misapplied out of enthusiasm rather than genuine need. Think about a Swiss Army knife. It has a blade, a saw, scissors, a corkscrew, and a tiny pair of tweezers. It is an engineering marvel. But if you are standing in your kitchen and all you need to do is slice a tomato, the right tool is a plain kitchen knife. Reaching for the Swiss Army knife because it is more sophisticated does not improve the outcome. It just makes the job slower and more awkward. Patterns are the same way. They are the right answer to the right problem and the wrong answer to a problem that does not need them. Two principles act as guardrails here. YAGNI, you aren't gonna need it, says do not add structure for requirements that do not exist yet. KISS, keep it simple, reminds us that a simpler solution is almost always more maintainable. When you apply a pattern before the pain that justifies it appears, you are paying the cost of abstraction upfront without collecting any of the benefit. The healthy workflow is, start simple, feel the real pain, then refactor toward the pattern that solves it. Let us walk through 3 stages of the same feature. Stage 1, one currency, one plain function, done. Stage 2, a second currency is requested, so we add a parameter and an if statement. Still no pattern, and that is correct. 2 cases do not justify a strategy hierarchy. Stage 3, the product now supports many currencies and the list is growing. That is real pain. Now we introduce a formatter's record, where each key maps to a formatter function. The format price function looks up the right strategy by currency code and calls it. The strategy pattern is now earning its cost, because the problem finally justifies it. Every design pattern works by inserting a layer between 2 things that would otherwise talk directly. That layer buys you flexibility. You can swap one side without touching the other. But a reader now has to cross that layer every time they trace through the code. And that takes mental effort. The cost is only worth paying when the flexibility is actually used. A reliable signal that a pattern is now justified is the open-close principle being violated. You keep cracking open existing tested code to add new cases. When that pain shows up, a pattern is your fix. On the left are the conditions that genuinely justify a pattern. You keep reopening working code, the variation is real and present, and the pattern communicates intent to your team rather than obscuring it. On the right are the warning signs of over-engineering. Only one concrete case exists, the pattern was chosen before the problem was understood, or a simple function already does the job cleanly. The most dangerous trap is the last one on the right, choosing the problem to fit the pattern instead of the other way around. To close, the goal of design patterns is maintainable, understandable software, not sophisticated-looking software. Start simple, let real pain guide you, and reach for a pattern only when the indirection it adds is clearly cheaper than the problem it solves. A codebase full of unnecessary abstractions is just as hard to work with as one with no structure at all. The skill is knowing the difference, and that comes from asking one question before every abstraction: what specific pain does this solve today?